Hey everybody. I hope this video finds you well, and I hope that you just watched the other kind of welcome back video. This one's more particular for our purposes in the philosophy of alcohol as we kind of get our feet settled again. And that's my main aim with this video and with today. There's not going to be anything wild or crazy material-wise, and maybe nothing, earth-shattering and wild philosophical discussions here. But what I want to do today, and again, this video probably won't last all too long, just kind of an easy day to get our pace back with us and find our feet under us. As I just want to kind of talk about where we've been and where we're going. Because the way that I build this class, and especially, being in the middle of the semester, and I really do like teaching this class I really do like teaching this class in spring semester with spring break providing the really natural kind of middle part. And the first part of the semester, right, where we've been is kind of different than where we're going. And that's kind of how I dichotomize both here. And in particular, thinking about like where we've been as like a foundation or perhaps like the roots of a tree, and where we're going being the rest of the house or being the rest of the branches of the tree. Okay? And in particular, kind of in that aim, the foundation that we've laid allows us to have really meaningful and perhaps more meaningful conversations going forward. Okay? So, where we've been, like just some of the stuff that we've done, and I know that this might seem repetitive and not that necessary, but in a way I think it's helpful to hear, everything that we've looked at. I think it's helpful to recognize everything that we've studied in 7-8 weeks. Because one, it gives us a better appreciation for the work that we've done, and it also allows us for motivation to continue to do more work as we go. And so where we've been, right? Started by looking at the nature of philosophy, right? The love of wisdom, thinking about kind of the discipline that encompasses every other discipline, that, everything that we have at the university, at colleges, is somehow connected to the discipline of philosophy, right? And philosophy being broken down into those various branches, epistemology, metaphysics, logic, axiology, right? Where it's got these, again, kind of hands in all these different pots, as if to suggest that philosophy really is kind of the penultimate study here, right? And that everything does relate back to, in some way or another, the pursuit of and the engagement with philosophy. We found our foundation there, and then we moved on to our discussion about subjective and objective evaluations, where for the purposes of our class, I think it's really easy to say, well, everything's subjective, it's all a matter of taste. But in fact, right, we can clearly see that it's not just a matter of taste. We can clearly see that there are objective observations, there are objective conclusions that we can draw about alcohol. There are objective ways of engaging with, the subject of our field, which is the philosophy of alcohol, right? We think about that in terms of ABV, alcohol by volume, IBU, International Bitterness Units. We think about it, standards of measurement. We think about it in terms of blood alcohol content, right? BAO, BAC, pardon me. So we can think about these objective properties of all the things that we're talking about, where easily we can talk about subjective. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? How much of it do you like? How much of it, does it get you, drunk? Does it not get you drunk? Just kind of all these different ways of thinking about kind of one's relationship with alcohol. And then we turn our focus to the big three, right? We think about beer, wine, and spirits. And in most of our discussions and in most of the topics, we talked about like the uniqueness of beer, wine, and spirits and like what makes them individually unique. And of course, there's like carryover with all of them because they're under the umbrella of alcohol. But there does seem to be something different between beer, between wine, between spirits. And so what are those differences? And for our purposes, what might be important about those differences, right? And when we think about beer, wine, and spirits, we think about, the uniqueness of beer. We think about kind of that, which is unique to beer in the classification of ale or lager. And then we think about wine, and we think about, the distinction of terroir, which isn't just restrictive to wine, but most prominently understood and engaged with in wine. Excuse me. And then we're talking about spirits, right? Kind of the higher proof, higher alcohol content spirits, and again, what we might learn, what we might know about kind of those spirits, right? Watch 2 movies, right? We watched Bottle Shock, and then we watched Neat, and hopefully those provided kind of nice outlets and nice outlets, and they also provided kind of a lens by which to think about the subject a little differently. And there are a handful of other movies out there that connect with alcohol and connect with various themes, but I think those 2 hit pretty hard here, which is great. So we've covered a lot, right? And that's kind of my main point of bringing this up is bringing this up just to kind of recognize how much we've done and how much there still is yet to do, okay? And when we think of like that which there is still yet to do, we're now transitioning into kind of where we're going, okay? Where we're going as it relates to like various topics, various outlooks, various ways of thinking about our engagement with alcohol. And that'll be in the next video.